then we better get started. We better dive right in. Participants are coming in as we speak. I love it. What is the topic of today? Well, it is client retention. Client retention when they're an active client and a pended client. And heck, we're going to go beyond being a pended client. There is nothing more important than protecting your PCSOI, right? Your past client sphere of influence. When do you start protecting your PCSOI? Well, you start protecting it when it is an active client you are serving. That is when retention begins. So we're going to go over some tactics here. How do you share and demonstrate excellent service all the way to the closing table and beyond? This is something the average realtor casts aside so quickly. They get an offer accepted for a client, and then they say, great, they're pended, on to the next opportunity. And we just often let them sit until closing, barring some inspection stuff, checking in on the appraisal. We are very reactive to our pended clients. That is where the relationship can start to cool, where the magic can start to wear off. That accepted offer to closing is a pivotal point to capitalize upon. So we've got to up our communication. Before I get into that, though, let's make sure we refresh on something from past webinar. Let's refresh on something from a past webinar. I talked about follow-up buckets. And this is to retain leads, to convert leads. But as we covered, these follow-up buckets are also about keeping the clients you already have. So what the heck are those follow-up buckets? Well, it's taking all of your clients and those hot leads and dividing them over the course of the 5 days of the week, right? So let's say you had 25 clients and 5 hot leads. Well, 30 divided by 5, that's 6 people per day of the work week. That means that when you do your follow-up time block that should be sacred and untouchable in your morning, you have the same 6 people who will hear from you on Mondays versus a different 6 people on Tuesdays out of that collective 30 clients and hot leads. And within each one of those buckets is a loop, right? A loop of diverse, purposeful reasons to follow up. We use this for our clients so they never question if we are there for them, if we are proactive for them, if we are working hard for them. And to refresh on that again really quick, week 1, because we practice a standard of checking in with clients at least once a week proactively, not reactively when they request showings, but especially when there's no showings to look at, we're always checking with our clients at least once a week with purpose. Week 1, of course, is that search results discussion, chewing on the search results in depth with them. Week 2 is an additional showing offer where you try to get out there and look for other properties on their behalf. You also have market summary knowledge share for week 3. Week 4, forward connection, which is really giving a care about who they are and what they care about and reaching out to them about that. Then we have the next week is morale check-in to see how they're really feeling about this. Again, that extra effort home viewing, where you go look at a house that doesn't exactly match their criteria, but you demonstrate the work effort. And then lastly, search criteria review, where you review their search criteria and try to evolve it. As we recall from the past webinar, that is a cycle, a 6-week cycle of follow-up. Each week with a specific purpose to reach out to your clients. Things that demonstrate that we want to be an educator, like that market summary knowledge share, where we give them tidbits about the market, about their price range, about the neighborhood they're looking at, about the interest rate. We show that we care about the relationship with the forward connection, where we reach out to them about family, occupation, recreation, dreams, things that they care about, right? And we only talk about those things. We also do the morale check-in to show we care about them, to say, how are you really feeling about this? Is there anything that's starting to bug you? I want to hear from you. How can I be better? And now they feel seen and heard. We also, of course, then show work ethic and critical thinking when we say, hey, we don't just set up a search. Let's look at the results together. Over the phone, let's talk nitty-gritty about a particular property and what you like and what you don't like. We demonstrate this work ethic with that extra effort home viewing, where we're willing to go look at houses, even with them not being interested in seeing the house. We still go look at it on their behalf to show we are always working for them. And then again, search criteria review. How can you evolve the search for them? A nice variety of proactive things we're demonstrating for our clients. So there's a quick refresher there. I have a question I see coming out here about the recording. We'll get the recording sent out. Yeah, if you want a recording for the follow-up buckets webinar, shoot me an email, Connor, CONNOR @hatchcoaching.com. I can get you the follow-up buckets in-depth webinar. I'm trying to paraphrase it a little bit right now, and I know it's not in depth like the webinar, so I can get that to you by request. Connor @hatchcoaching.com. That follow-up when they're an active client should make them never doubt the quality of your service. They should never start having second guesses where they start to kind of fade away, maybe vanish and want to cancel on you, or just go radio silent on you and go work with another realtor and you have no idea that they've done it. So that's the importance of these buckets we've talked about once upon a time. Now let's get to the point where you've been doing this proactive service with them in the thick of the search, and they finally find that house. They get an accepted offer. Now we're back to what I was talking about at the beginning of this webinar. This is when the average realtor says, thank goodness we'll get past the inspection, and now I will stop talking to them until I have something that's reminding me to talk to them, like the appraisal coming in. That relationship cool down phase is what we need to address, gang. So you should have a checklist. You should have a checklist of things you will proactively reach out to your pended clients about between pended date and closing date. Here's what I do is I like to have this checklist, and then I like to set a reminder in my calendar to reach out to a pended client twice a week. Twice a week. Now, this can fluctuate based on how long it takes your market to close or the particular closing of a client. Maybe they're building a new property and it's going to take months, or maybe they're like a 30-day from accepted offer timeframe. With that 30 to 45 days, I do that 2 times a week as a standard. And now we certainly proactively communicate with them on some obvious things, right? Inspection setup, getting the inspection scheduled, discussing the inspection report and put possible repair requests. That stuff's going to happen. We also, as I already said, talk about the appraisal, maybe letting them know when it's scheduled to come back, and then possibly discussing the results of said appraisal and possible negotiations. Those things are a given. We also have final walkthrough confirmation and doing the final walkthrough. Again, things that are a given. Now, add on top of all that, these items. This is the checklist that we should be reaching out to our pended clients about. It's almost like you're going down the list. Every time you follow up with them, you're checking one of these things off. The first 2, Ford connection. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. We need to care about the relationship, not the real estate side of things. This is reaching out to the pended client, and you were just talking about something they care about. Hey, saw your grandson at a basketball tournament. How'd they do? Hey, your favorite brewery out there, Drecker, they just released a new St. Patty's Day beer. Have you tried it? It is relational connection with them, not talking about the pended transaction. I'm not dropping you because I got you to this pended phase and now we're just like, all right, I'm a realtor and you're a transaction. No, like, hey, we got you to pended. We're working on the inspection stuff. And oh, by the way, let's talk about your life in the thick of it because I give a crap. That's what we demonstrate with Ford connection. Tuesdays, Thursdays. That first Tuesday, it might sound like, yep, inspections confirmed for Friday. Hey, insert that beer line if they care about that local craft brewery. Insert that basketball tournament thing because they have grandkids who play basketball and you notice that. The next reach out on this list would be a utility switch reminder. A lot of realtors know this is something to reach out about. Do it as soon as possible. Remind them that they will want to look into getting the utility switched over. They could schedule a date to do that. And you can point them in the direction of the right utility providers based on the area they are in. That's a great value to reach out to them on out of the blue sooner than later. Next item on the list, an insurance inquiry. Hey, clients of mine, I know we talked insurance once upon a time. Let's circle back on that. Do you know what you're going to do for your home insurance? Do you need options? How can I point you in that right direction? That is the specific reason to follow up with a Pended client then. Then we go to packing strategy tips as another reason to reach out to them. Hey, clients, it's Connor reaching out to you. I know you're probably starting to think about packing, and holy cow, it can get away from you. You know, friendly reminder that you need to be out of the house by the day of closing, the majority of the time. You know, here's a rhythm that I've seen work for past clients. Do the 2 box a day rhythm. Just get 2 boxes packed. Make it a marathon, not a sprint. It's a really good tip to not feel overwhelmed. Just start with 2 boxes. And that's a nice pace. I've seen it work well for clients versus those who haven't done it. Now they're rushing with 48 hours left until closing. I don't want you to have that stress. So, hey, there's that 2 a day strategy. And also, as far as prioritizing, start with seasonal items. What are seasonal items you do not need day in and day out? Pack those first versus the bare essentials. Just look at packaging up the non-essential items. I will get to that question here in a minute. Good question. We'll circle back on that. With this checklist in place, every time you reach out to them, it is, again, just checking off that quick reach out. A lot of these can be 2 to 3 minute conversations over the phone or even texted to your Pended clients. This next one is one of my favorites, and hopefully it's one that we are in the business of collecting organically, but just in case, we have on this checklist Ford survey. There's that Ford acronym again, FORD, Family, Occupation, Recreation, and Dreams. We should reach out to a client that's Pended out of the blue and say, hey, John and Jane Smith, we're getting closer and closer to closing, and I really hope we don't stop talking when that happens. Got to be honest, I want to be able to celebrate your birthday for decades. So if I didn't have it before, I need to know your birthdays because you're going to get a big old cake from me. And you laugh about it, you make a light of it, but you say, I really want to make sure I capture your birth dates because we're going to keep in touch. You should also try to fill in the following blanks with this Ford survey. Not just their birthdays, but can you identify a holiday they really love? John and Jane, what's your favorite holiday? I want to help you celebrate it. Favorite sports team, if you haven't picked up on that. Where's their allegiance lie for football, baseball, basketball? Their hobby, interest, or passion. Can you use social media and what you've learned about them to document something else they care about that's a hobby, an interest, or a passion? And can you uncover some of their favorite dining spots or local businesses? If you don't have that discovered up to this point, just ask, because you give a crap about who they are and what they care about, and you can say as much. You can jokingly say, yeah, I want to gift you with things. Most people will laugh and say that's not necessary, but then they'll also tell you the answers. And now you filled out the Ford survey and you have Ford data to use later on to serve them as a past client. And it can also help you with closing gifts that are more customizable. Next, reach out. How is the moving coming along? Hey, there's a moving company that I build a relationship with. They could give you a quote for what it would cost to move. And maybe you've set up some sort of discount. If you refer one of your clients to a moving company, maybe they'll give you 15, 20% off. How can you offer them value on a consistent basis when they're in the Pended phase? One of them is a quote from a moving company. Maybe you have gotten a discount set up with that moving company. This one I like. It's really simple, but you could reach out to them out of the blue and say, hey, in your new neighborhood, I looked into it. Here's your schedule for garbage pickup. This might be important for you when you're unpacking. You're going to probably accumulate a lot of garbage. Just so you're aware, they do garbage pickup on Tuesdays in your new upcoming neighborhood. I think I just spit there. Holy cow, I'm getting fired up. I think I saw it in the recording. I might have to go back and see if I can catch that. 1:17 p.m. Central Time. Can I capture the spit from my excitement? We'll find out. But something as simple as just giving them the garbage schedule is you proactively letting them know you are there and you're thinking about them and serving them. This is about consistent service being demonstrated. So your clients get to the closing table with a raving review of your proactive service, right? We're building up these points by checking these boxes off. Power of moments. Give them a break. You know it's in the thick of packing up. Give them a gift card. Have food delivered to their house. Text them and say, hey, I'm sure you are so busy. How about you plan in a day or two, or even tonight if you can, to take a breather? Go have a pizza on me. Or I'll order a pizza and deliver it to you so you don't have to worry about food. On me. Wow, what a cool message. I remember packing up at my first house and holy cow, thinking about dinner was a stressor. What if my realtor would have done that for me? Kind of did because I was my own realtor, but beside the point. Power of moments, family photo in front of the soon to be old address. This is now caveat. Is this a happy change happening where they want to treasure memories at the house? Then it doesn't have to be the week of closing. You could say, hey, I'm going to show up. I'm going to pop by, see how it's going. And let's take a picture out front of this house. This should be a cool picture that you can remember and look back on fondly. We have a big picture of our first house and me and my family in front of it. It is a very fond picture. Why not be the realtor who offers that to people? Assuming it is a positive change and they loved the house with fond memories, nothing sad or conflict ridden. If your team or you as an individual have client events, well, the next item on this list is to reach out to them and say, hey, we're going to be sending you invites as they get closer, but just so you're aware, throughout the course of the year, we do client events and you will be getting invites to our February date night event, our May Hatchstock outdoor event, and our November Pie Day event. Just so you're aware, there's some past client events that you're going to be plugged into. More to come on that, but now you know. Can't wait to see you in the future. On to the next item on this checklist. For first-time home buyers, you could give them a short list of good home maintenance tips. Hey, John and Jane, as you're getting ready to move into the next house, because you're not a first-time home buyer, I will still share with you this maintenance list because a lot of homeowners forget this. AKA, whether you're a first-time home buyer or a repeat buyer, I will share this first-time home buyer good home maintenance tips list, which consists of words are hard right now. Reminders to replace filters, turn off water lines when winter comes to set in, check gutters and downspouts regularly, examine the slope of your foundation, and test your detectors once a month. Just a simple list of 5 items I can share with my Pended clients to, again, let them know I am thinking about you. And all you got to do is copy and paste that message and say, hey, as you're getting ready to get situated in that next house, here's some good reminders for you as homeowners. Value provided. And then the last item on this list for the Pended is another Ford connection. Reaching out of the blue about something they care about. Hey, saw your Vikings got a big win last night. Congrats. Did you have time to watch that or were you still packing? Ford connection on that list. Just go down that list and maintain a healthy relationship with Pended clients for diverse reasons. You're going to get them to the closing table without a cooled relationship. It should be a warm, if not hot, relationship based on all the consistent value you've continued to throw at them. You're not dead to them until the closing table. You still give a crap and you make time for it. How many Pended clients do you have at any given point? How many Pended clients do you have at any given point? I would wager it is not enough to schedule 20 minutes twice a week and do these quick text messages. A lot of these things are scalable, replicatable, copy and pasteable, and you can send it off instantaneously in a text message. Now, I highly encourage you from time to time to get on the phone, try to get voice to voice, because voice to voice is a higher level of influence than written word to written word. But even then, when you get on the phone with them, it shouldn't be longer than 3 to 5 minutes. Just share this value with them, give them some sort of action steps, and away you go. If you have 4 pended transactions at a time, my goodness, well, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 4 or 5 minute conversations at the most. I think that's doable, and they really shouldn't all be that long. I need to take a drink of water. I finished all my water. I'm getting tongue-tied. My goodness. So the pended client care checklist here, everyone. I can share a copy of this if anyone would like. I assume no one wants to see a copy of this list. He said, thinking he's so funny. Send me a request. If not on here, again, you can shoot me an email and I can share this list for reference. Because it's a mouthful, right? I'm trying to move a little quick here without going into the nitty-gritty in-depth analysis. So we get through this checklist to not let our pended clients cool off, and now we get them to the closing table. Hopefully you've considered using some of the information you learned in the Ford survey to get a little extra unique closing gift. Maybe if they're die-hard Minnesota Vikings fans, you get them some Viking gear. If they love Drecker Brewery, which is a brewery here in Fargo, maybe you get them a 6-pack of craft beer. But what do they have on that Ford survey that you can use to say, hey, I remembered, hey, actually give a crap. And once they close, you should plug your past clients into a monthly rhythm. A lot of teams out there have automated systems that will reach out to clients on your behalf, and I think that's fantastic. I believe in addition to realtors need to get better at maintaining relationships with their past clients organically. And by organically, I mean they're directly reaching out, not just letting the system reach out for them. What does this look like? Well, here's where I thought maybe it'd be better just to show it to you. I love my beautiful spreadsheets. I think they're just gorgeous. I think they're fantastic. I'll share one with you now. Let's zoom this sucker in. We got December cut off over there. Here's what I believe is organically realtors should schedule reaching out to these past clients once a month at minimum with good purpose. Once a month at minimum with good reason. Well, here is my default list of the reasons to reach out to past clients. And it's not 12. There's extras. We got about 15 of these because teams are built so differently. Agents operate so differently. If you're on a team, maybe you have less client events than this. Maybe you have more. Great. If you have more, tack them down here. If you have less, well, we've got some extra built in for you to consider. If you're an agent who currently does not have client events, I think you should strongly consider creating at least one client event on your own. Now, that can be a topic for another one of these webinars as far as designing impactful client events. But we're just going to use my example here. This is an example of how this might look. So John and Jane Smith, Jane and John Smith, they are a pended client. When they are pended, I am going to sit down on Friday afternoons. I'm going to make sure my pended clients all have this designed for them so it's ready by the time they close. I'm going to sit down on Friday, and it's just like file work or something. Y'all got to do it. We'll make this a priority because who could be more important to protect than your past client sphere of influence? This is worth the time, I believe, to build this. Friday, I sit down, John and Jane Smith. Now I input this information into this blank spreadsheet. Okay, I know that the date night on February has February follow-up with them covered. I know that May, that Hatchstock client event, has my May follow-up covered for them. That November Pi Day, I know what I'll be reaching out to them about on November. It's the Pi Day event. Those are pretty much all filled in for all of my past clients or soon to be past clients. Now I just got to be in the business of filling in these other months with reasons to reach out to them. Well, here are those reasons. I think here's where you can have some creative fun. Holiday connection. I think it's great to reach out to past clients during the holidays. And now you could pick your favorite times of the year to reach out to your clients and have fun with it. I love Christmas. Who doesn't? I think a lot of people do out there. Not a shocking statement of the most popular holidays or one of the most popular holidays out there. But in December, I'm going to make it a point to have a Christmas card and a homemade gift. For me, it's apple butter or hot sauce, homemade hot sauce. I know I'll be reaching out to all of my clients by choice for this reason. And it's having fun with the holidays. Similarly, for a second holiday reach out, I like Halloween, fond memories of Halloween. I'm going to have a Halloween greetings. And then I'm also going to have some candy bags for their kiddos. So clients with kiddos, I'm going to reach out to them and say, hey, I have a bag of candy for your kids. How can I get that to you? If you swing into the office on Halloween or the Friday before Halloween, whatever day Halloween falls on, I got a bag of candy with your kid's name on it. Would love to see their costume. Whether they show up or not, it's a great reason to reach out to them. So that helps me cover December and October for reasons to reach out to them. And in this case, for me, this is all my clients. I have this reason predetermined. Closing anniversary, birthdays. Well, this is a moving target depending on the person. In this case, John and Jane, this is the date of their closing. I mark that down. Well, that covers the month of June. In June, the month of their closing, I will be reaching out to them to celebrate their closing anniversary. I know that Jane's birthday is on January 21st, so that covers my reason to reach out to them in January is a hearty happy birthday phone call, maybe card. Now, John's is in May, which is also the hatch stock reason. Well, great, I'm still going to do it. May just happens to be doubled up for these clients, and that's okay. John's still going to hear from me for his birthday. And that's where it can be helpful. This time it's doubled up. So John's not going to help cover one of these missing months. Well, good thing I have these extra reasons in here to reach out to make sure all 12 months has a good reason. And now here is why we do that Ford survey. Customizable. I will tell you, gang, with actual Ford information already collected, picking these three took me probably 2 minutes. They're Vikings fans, I learned, diehard Viking fans. They love Drecker Brewery. They have sons who play high school basketball at West Fargo High School. Those are my 3 Ford facts that I'm using to plan out past client follow-up with scalability. Well, I know that the NFL season starts in about September. Well, I'm going to use that Vikings fan Ford connection piece to tell them good luck. Maybe I'll place a bet with them because I'm actually a Packers fan. And wow, what a fun reason to reach out to a past client in September. Talking football. They love this brewery. Well, March, I don't know, it's St. Patty's Day. It's also a month I had yet to fill in with a reason to reach out to them. Well, maybe I'll text them about some seasonal beer releases. Maybe they want to meet me there. Have they tried this new beer? I hadn't seen it before. Just texting them, talking to them about things they care about in March. Well, we've doubled up again with this Ford connection because it just made sense that, well, March is the time of the year when there's like the state tournament. Well, it just made sense to double up on March and, hey, I'll reach out to them and wish them good luck with state qualifiers and or the state tournament. Sure, one day they'll be out of high school and we'll pivot that appropriately, but for the foreseeable future, I think for the next 3 years, that'll be applicable. So what was left here? Well, gratitude message. I didn't have anything in July, so it just made sense to say, I'm going to reach out to them out of the blue in July and just express appreciation. Hey, John and Jane, it's been a little bit. Hey, I'm in the thick of a busy year and well, I'm pretty grateful for my past clients and well, that includes you. I don't take lightly that you trusted in me one day to help you find your house and hey, I really appreciate it. Hope your summer's been great. That's the example of a gratitude message. You can plug it in at any point in the year where you might have a blank spot that hasn't been filled in already. We should not be afraid to ask for referrals. Well, again, April had nothing in it. Well, I'm going to put the referral ask in there. Hey, John and Jane, it's Connor. Hope you're having a good spring. Wondering if you have a minute to talk business. I'm looking for your help. I know I mentioned at the closing table that if you're okay with it, I might reach out from time to time and ask if you know anyone as awesome as you that could use my help. Well, here I am looking for your help. I have a goal to meet 3 new people before the end of the week. Do you happen to know anyone who's looking to buy or sell that I could help out? A couple things to unpack. You should set that expectation that you will reach out from time to time at the closing table. And then whenever you call them for this, you set the expectation that you're calling to talk business. And you ask if they can help you out. There's some psychology in that. There's a lot of people who are inherently wired to want to help if they're asked for help. It's human nature. So we use that language, wondering if you can help me out. If you let them know that you have a specific goal in mind, that can add to some call to action. You just make the ask, nothing dramatic about it, especially if it's built on the foundation of that great active client follow-up bucket system, that pended client checklist, now this monthly purposeful reach out. It shouldn't be like you're calling a stranger out of the blue. It's someone you've maintained a semi-regular communication with. I think that makes it easier to make said asks on top of the other things I'm talking about. I mean, hey, once a year, we should try to pop by. Bring a case of Drecker. Hey, there's that same theme from Ford helping me out. What could I bring by to visit them and see how the house has been? You know what? I didn't even use this last one because I have every month covered at least once and then some. A personal brand connection is you using things you care about to engage past clients. Example would be, I love our summertime street fair. It's one of my favorite events. That's one of my Ford things about me. I love going to that street fair in the summertime amongst our farmers markets and our street fairs. That's some of my favorite stuff. If I wanted to, if I needed to, I know that that particular event is in August. I could have put it right here and it could have been inviting John and Jane Smith to go to the street fair. Hey, John and Jane, it's Connor. Hope you're having a good summer. I am so excited that it is street fair season. Have you ever gone and checked it out? I love this thing. There is a booth there that provides Wisconsin cheeses. Have you ever been to this thing? Like, you should totally check it out. I'm planning to go Friday. Maybe if you go then, I'll bump into you. There's an example of a personal brand connection. There is plenty of scalability in here, I believe, but there's also customization. And I believe that customization is necessary because people want to feel seen and heard. And automated plans can only go so far for making them individually feel seen and heard. And of all the lead gen to do in a week, what could be more important to form a lead gen than your past client group? We should be in the business of lead genning daily, and one of our lead gen activities should be executing the list of activities that we have designed here for each one of our clients. It's not like they're showing up all the time. Each client is 12 reach outs in a year at minimum. But holy cow, this is a group of people who have seen you do your job, who have been helped by you. What other group could be more important to us? The top of our lead gen time should be making sure we're on top of past client service. And I think that's what will lead to more referrals, repeat business. I think it's worth the time. I also think it's worth the money. For every closing, for every commission check you're getting from a closing, are you setting aside some money for this purpose, to invest, to reinvest in a now past client? Some of this costs a few dollars. Well, make a budget. I pulled $200 out of every commission check to serve said past client. And now with that $200, I have a budget to work with to serve them based on their forward facts. And I think that $200 is a pretty good investment if they give me a referral or come around to working with me again. Totally worth it. Now, I'll do a caveat there. I encourage that you think of budgeting 2 years worth. So for me, it was actually $400 out of a commission check to reinvest into my past clients, believing it would pay off in the form of referrals. You don't have to do it that way, but to make sure you've budgeted 2 years worth of value that you can pay for, I think it's wise. Now, how much amount per year do you decide? Well, I guess it's up to your market, your budget, but you probably want to set aside some money to reinvest in your past clients' sphere of influence. It is a worthy lead source for that. So there you go. This is some brain power, some thought, and well, I think it's worthy of the brain power, some thought, some planning. What other questions do we have here? What other thoughts and Q&A do we have? Yes, I do it for all past clients. That is the goal. I think there are some caveats, some pivots. If they have moved away from the area, some of this stuff isn't easily scalable. You have to do some pivots on if they don't live in the area, but a lot of it is still replicatable. You don't have to invite them out to get together in person, but all those forward connections, well, most of them still work. The Vikings fan thing, the fact that they play high school, if they moved away, you could say, hey, how are the boys getting situated in the new high school? Are they on the basketball team? The Vikings fan thing, that still exists. Yeah, the Drecker thing, you'd have to pivot. I would probably still send them a message like, Drecker misses you. And here I am with like a picture of the beer in my hand. And that'd still be something for them to respond back with. And they might say, we miss Drecker too. We have found this new brewery in Chicago area or wherever they moved to. And now you're having interactions with them still, even if they moved away. Karen, yeah, good thought there, Karen. I'll just put it in here. My email. She's asking for my email again. There it is, connor@hatchcoaching.com, to shoot me a message requesting all this stuff that I've been sharing. Sarah asks, when you do the survey, do you send them a Google form they fill out on their own, or do you ask the questions over the phone? Sarah, I like to ask over the phone. And when I say over the phone, it can be text. Voice to voice or text. And again, I teach a philosophy in a lot of parts of my coaching, and one of them is own the awkward. We should own the awkward whenever we're gun shy about asking for referrals. We should own the awkward when we dare to go there and want to learn something about them that's forward related, not real estate related. So if you didn't notice in my explanation of this, I ham it up. I own the awkward, meaning I name out loud when I'm afraid they're thinking. Why is he asking us this stuff? Oh, I bet he's asking us this stuff because, oh, well, he wants to learn about what we care about to give us gifts. If that makes me gun shy about asking in the first place, I own that. And I say, heck yeah, like I'm going to plan to shower you with gifts, but I need to know what you like. Please tell me. I'm planning to do that. I hope we don't lose touch after the closing. That's owning the awkward, is saying out loud what you might get gun shy about. And the majority of people, again, they laugh it off. They say, oh, okay, he's being honest about it. Like, okay, he's not an insane, sneaky person. He's out in the open about why he's doing it. And that's the owning the awkward that makes people more comfortable with giving you that information. The reality is, the majority of the time, the people aren't even thinking the things we're scared to death that they're thinking of. But if you think they might be thinking it, bring it out in the open, own the awkward, throw it out there as part of your explanation. Yeah. Hey, I want to give you gifts. Who's your favorite sports team? What's some of your favorite local establishments in town? I need to capture this. Sorry, my memory sucks, but I do care. And most people will oblige. You also have social media to utilize to creep, which sounds bad, but why not use that information that's out there to realize what they care about and use it to provide service to them? I think that's pretty awesome. And really, we should be given a care to ask them what they care about in the course of them being a client. So we should be able to learn a lot of this stuff organically, and we can kind of get into the business of sneaking these questions in at showings, at appointments. I'm over explaining. I get too excited about this stuff, but it is the important stuff. It's been a very powerful training. Thank you so much. Thank you. When you ask the client to review the search results with you, have they showed resistance by saying they are too busy? What do you say then? Anonymous attendee said that. So when they say they're too busy, you say, I totally get it. I'm just really interested in having searches that don't waste your time. So even if you had 5 minutes, I want to like make sure this isn't fluff that's really, really a waste of your time. So they say they're too busy. I say, yeah, I get it. You're too busy. I don't want you to sit down when you have the time and see nothing but fluff. Even 3 to 5 minutes, let's just see if this search is spot on for you. I don't want to waste your time either. And when you use their language on them, that can elicit some good responses. And anonymous attendee, even if they straight up just decline, the fact that you are offering that is still value being demonstrated. And so much of this is layering consistent demonstrations of value, whether they take you up on it or not. They will never question your work ethic or proactivity. And that is a victory in of itself. That answer your question for you? What other questions do we have in here? Yes, thank you. That one got answered. What else, everybody? This takes a little bit of creative design, but I can't say enough. I think it's worth it. There's no other questions. Going once, going twice. Folks, you are not in the real estate game. You are in the relationship game. If you want to retain and convert and get referrals, you need to out relationship everyone else. And these are all tactics with that same common goal in mind, is out relationshiping anyone and not letting the relationship go cold by not reaching out with some degree of consistency. You're in the relationship business, first and foremost. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. And again, email me if you want this information to chew on. Have a good rest of your day.